there's that expression, and excuse the gendered nature of it, but it only works this way if you rhyme, because it rhymes. Happy wife, happy life, right? How do you think about leadership and their personal life, applying being a leader at home, applying having a balanced, happy home, so that you're not bringing your garbage to the office and you're not bringing your garbage from the office home?
So there's three things in there that I'm going to unpack. So this is going to be a long answer, but I think
I love it.
Right. So the first thing is, your job as a leader is to make really fast transitions. By that is, you play many different roles in many different places. Your job is not to carry the last conversation. So forget about, how happy things are. Your job is not to carry the last conversation to this conversation. If you're going to be entirely attentive to me, it's about our conversation. So even during the workday, you just had a conversation. We just did this conversation.
Sure.
You can't let that influence what's going to happen next by mood, by focus, by lack of focus, or everything else. Your job is to make fast transitions.
Sure.
And so you've got to, if that means you need to settle yourself and sit out in your car for a couple of minutes before you walk in the house so you can now be dad, then that's what you need to do.
Sure.
But your job is not to walk into that house and carry with you forward anything that came from before. And that's about conversation. It isn't about happy. It isn't about, disappointment. It's about conversation. And because all of those things reside in conversation. So your job is to make transitions, fast ones, from conversation to conversation, and carry them forward, right? So that's my first piece. My second answer, or kind of like, engagement around that idea of happy is, listen, this happens to me all the time. I'll study somebody and they'll say, I'm really good at relationships. I go, really? Tell me about that. And they go, I'm really good with my friends, have a great marriage, not so good with my colleagues, not good with my leader, okay with my clients. What I know is they suck everywhere. They just don't know. Okay. Because you can't be good really good in one spot. You've never met anyone that wakes up and, who's fast and then wakes up slow. You never met anyone that's like really smart and then one day they're stupid, right? Excellence doesn't turn itself on or off. It just doesn't. And so the question really is when people tell me like, they need a certain context, that I have to be happy here to be happy here. My response is like, okay, it sounds to me like you're not happy anywhere. So let's figure it all out, because it isn't a segue between this and that. Sure. You're not achieving, you're not hitting on all cylinders every place. So let's figure that out, right? Because you're overestimating yourself, which we all do. Okay. That you're thinking it's more about X than it is Y. It's both of those things, right? They're happening. You can't turn excellence on and off. Right. My third answer to that is this idea of work-life balance has created such a horrible metaphor in 2021. It wasn't a horrible metaphor in 1960, by the way, but because we asked for different commitments, there was different engagement, there was an entirely different way of organizing ourselves and the like. But in 2021, there is no work-life balance. It's an integrated whole, right? It's work-life, Bezos calls it work-life harmony. And I don't like most of Bezos' stuff, but he's got that one right. It's a harmonious way of connecting all the dots so that you integrate pieces. People that aren't talking to the people that matter the most to them in life. You're not talking to your kids all day long. I don't in little nano texts or whatever else. And you're saying, well, I'm going to save that for the weekend. What I know is you're out of balance. Okay. Right. You haven't integrated in your life. Okay. And so I want all of those things integrated. And what you're going to find is, when you integrate and create a harmonious balance in your life about everything you're doing, so everything that's important happens all the time, what you're going to find is everything happy has an influence in shaping of everything else. And everything that's unhappy, you have the ability to put in context and keep it. And so happiness will spread itself, if you will, if you're fully integrated. Satisfaction will spread itself. Pride will, all the good virtues will spread themselves. And the other things will become moments in time that you can get past. So to me, it's all about integrating and creating a whole rather than separating things out. When we subordinate and separate things out, we get ourselves in trouble as leaders. When I say I'll worry about the relationship and how people see me later, I got to get the task done. I'm going to subordinate that to later. Later is one of the biggest dangers that we all face. Everything can be done later. I can procrastinate and do it later. I can talk about my relationships later. I can push this off for the weekend. We're going to have really quality time this weekend, Ryan, by the way. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm basically not integrating the whole. And as a result, I'm being less effective as I should be as a leader. And I'm making everybody around me less effective as a result.